This lesson is solve the equation by factoring. Here I have an equation, parentheses x minus 7, parentheses x plus 2. Since this is already in parentheses, we're going to separate them individually. Okay, so separate this individually, separate this individually. And make sure when you separate them, it always equals 0. Why equals 0? Because we are solving the equation. Okay, so again, since this is already in parentheses, separate them individually and make sure that they are equal to 0 because we are solving. After that, we solve for the letter x or whatever variable it is. Okay, so this is x minus 7, so if I bring the 7 over, the negative 7 over, it will become positive, and that is solved. Next, x plus 2, so bring the plus 2 over by subtracting, so minus 2 over, so it becomes negative 2. Again, this is negative 7. When I bring it over, make sure you do the opposite, so become positive 7. This is plus 2, so we subtract 2 over, so it becomes minus 2. So if you look at this very carefully, all you're doing is just the opposite. Okay, so opposite of negative 7, positive 7. Opposite of positive 2, negative 2. So just the opposite. Okay, next example. Here I need to take the 6 out, so 6 take the 6 out, and then 150 divided by 6 gives me 25. One more time, take the 6 out, divide 150 by 6 gives me 25. And if you look at this very carefully, this is difference of square. Okay, so again, if you look at this very carefully, this is difference of square. There are two x's, and then 5 times 5 gives me 25. And since the middle is negative, one of them is minus and the other one is plus. Okay, again, take the 6 out, divide 150 by 6 gives me 25, and this is difference of square. And there are two x's, so 1, 2, 25, which is 5 times 5, so 5 times 5. Since this is a minus, one of them is a minus and the other is a plus. Okay, after that, separate this individually, separate this individually. Now the 6 go away because there is no variable on 6. It's just a number 6. So this 6 will automatically go away. We just want to solve anything that has a variable. Okay, since 6 doesn't have a variable, it just automatically go away. Here I have a variable, bring it down, variable, bring it down. Now do the opposite, negative 5, positive 5, positive 5, negative 5. So this is the answer for this example. Next example, so here we have 7x squared plus 17x minus 20 equal negative 8. Make sure all terms are on the same side, so we have to combine like terms. So again, make sure all of the terms are on one side, and usually it would be best if it is on the left side. Okay, so move everything over so that it is on one side. So since this is minus 8, if I bring it over, become plus 8. So negative 20 plus 8 gives me negative 12. Okay, so one more time, all of the term should be on one side so that we can factor. Okay, so bring this negative 8. When I bring it, the negative 8 over, become positive 8. So negative 20 plus 8 gives me negative 12. Okay, next, do the x method so that you can factor out. So a is 7, b is 17, c is negative 12. on the top is always a times c, so 7 times negative 12 will gives me negative 84. And in the bottom will be the letter b, which is 17. Okay, so one more time, a times c, so 7 times negative 12 gives me negative 84, and then b is 17. Now list out the factor of 84. So I have 184, 242, 328, 421, 614, 712. Now the only combination that will give me 17 and negative 84, which is 4 and 21. And the reason is 4 times 21 gives me 84. 21 subtract 4 gives me 17. So therefore the 4 has to be a minus and the 21 must be a plus, because negative 4 times positive 21 gives me negative 84. 21 take away 4, 17. So be very careful of that. Next, since a is not 1, here a is 7. One more time, since a is not 1, we have to divide by a. Again, a here is not 1, so we take this 7, divide to the 4, and also to the 21. Okay, and when you divide, make sure you reduce. One more time, since a is not 1, divide by a and then reduce. Again, a is not 1, so divide a into 4 and 21, and then after that reduce. So here I have to divide by 7 and also on the 21. Negative 4 over 7, it's already reduced, so leave it alone. 21 divided by 7, make sure you reduce down to 3 and 1. Okay, so 21 divided by 7 gives me 3. 7 divided by 7 gives me 1. Again, if you cannot reduce, leave it alone. If you can reduce, make sure you reduce. Okay, and then put this in parentheses, followed by the rule: denominator goes first, numerator goes second. Denominator first, numerator second. So denominator, which is 7, so 7x, minus 4, because that's my numerator. Denominator, which is 1, so 1x, and numerator plus 3. Okay, so this is my factor. It's in parentheses. Now make it individually, separate them individually, and then solve for x. So move the 4 over, become positive 4, divide by 7, 4, 7, subtract 3 over, which gives me this negative 3. Okay, or you can look at this carefully. If you notice the last two examples, all we've been doing is the opposite. So the opposite of negative 4, 7 become positive 4, 7. The opposite of 3 over 1, negative 3 over 1. Okay, again, once you divide by a, make sure once you divide by a, make sure you reduce. If you cannot reduce, leave it alone. If you can reduce, make sure you reduce. And then after that, you do the opposite. If this is minus, positive. If this is positive, negative. Okay, so that will be the answer to this equation up here. Okay, so this is the answer to this equation up here. Okay, so be very careful when we solve the equation. Okay.